Clever girl.
Hello, you're back at the single malt review for our second festive ranking. Now we're barreling towards Christmas, which means those of you in the Northern Hemisphere, so if we're honest, most of you, you're well into winter. It's very summery for us, but as a happy compromise, we've got a New Zealand whisky with a wintry tone to it. Going to Pokeno, the relatively new New Zealand distillery, which has been making waves and impressing us every time we've encountered it. This is the Exploration Series limited release number 2.
Indeed.
Here's winter malt.
Relatively new, rather describes most New Zealand distilling at the moment. It is in its current incarnation. It has not been going on very long, so it's all nascent is the word. It's all a very exciting emerging field. But
So this is an
one
exciting dram.
one that has never disappointed of the probably two we've tried. It's Pokeno. They are clearly there mucking around is not on the flowchart of the Pokeno. The Pokeno work order. Also, I have to mention this is you can't. This is very difficult to demonstrate over the screen, but the amount of glass in this bottle is extreme.
They are seriously elegant bottles that they have here, and they're hefty.
This is something else.
So this whiskey's big selling point is it has 4 distinct kinds of malt in it. We have, in no particular order, there is Manuka smoked malt, so regular malt that's been smoked, same as you would have peat, except using Manuka wood instead, which is often used for smoking fish and pretty much anything else you might smoke to cook it. Manuka famous internationally for Manuka honey, very tasty and reputedly quite medicinal honey, but wood itself is very popular. There's also a chocolate roasted malt, which is essentially a beer malt which has been roasted very dark. If you were to try to brew yourself a dark beer, you would use a dark roasted malt. No actual chocolate involved, but it does describe the colour and some of the flavours quite nicely. We've encountered chocolate roasted malt and whiskey before, most notably in Archie Rose from Australia.
Which we got wrong at the time, calling it a Starwood, but no, that was corrected.
Then there's toffee malt, which is roasted at very low temperatures, then caramelised. So to be quite sweet. It's still got some roastiness to it.
What this roasting, what this extra kilning does functionally means there's less fermentable sugar, or rather there's more unfermentable sugar. So if you were brewing with it, you'd get a sweeter, maltier beer. When you're distilling, it's a bit weirder because that means you'll get sugar in your wash that hasn't been fermented out. It won't be completely dry. But once you distill it, that sugar is going to remain there. But certain flavour compounds are going to come through. And the difference they can make, as we've discovered, as we've tasted more of these whiskies, can be quite phenomenal. I think the Archie Rose was the standout in terms of one you point to and say, check it out.
I believe it was 100% chocolate malt. So
this is what happens when you make these decisions. But yeah, it leaves its impact for sure.
The final malt we have here is Laureate Distiller's Malt, which they describe as sweet and floral. It's matured in first fill bourbon casks, no age statement, and bottled at a generous 48%. Now expecting a chocolatey, sweet,
and that's
warming
exactly
whiskey.
What we're getting. There's a real chocolatey crunch
Wow, it
here.
smells nice. Yeah.
Right, and that chocolate is apparent, you'd have to say.
It's a dark, very cocoa-rich chocolate.
It's almost it's a wholemeal toast almost. There's a real the chocolate spectrum extends into sort of toasted grainy goodness. Yeah. But nice, the crunch is there.
Nice hint of some of my favourite beers too. Nice, rich, dark porter and stout. Oh, yeah.
The Manuka is very subtle, which is good because you sing the praises of Manuka all you like. It is not a subtle flavour, and I think once it's overused, it will over egg anything it's applied to pretty jolly quickly. And we've some whiskies have suffered in the past.
It is so good for strong, gamey meats. But it'd be easy to go hog wild with it on a whiskey.
So I think this is nicely in balance for 48%. It's pretty jolly gentle on the nose at least. And aside from that, we've got some There's some prune. There's some dark, mostly stewed, a little bit of fruitcake, but it really is all about that malt.
Yeah.
The vanilla from the first fill is there, but it's there in support of rather than necessarily. Yeah, it's really about that malt. It's about that big crusty crunch. That
showing what those dark caramelized malts can do.
All right, tasting full strength.
Oh, that's delicious in a bottle.
Wow.
It's got a real hit of, freshly brewed espresso. It's got a proper, invigorating caffeine bitterness to it, like you've taken the first sip of a well-brewed espresso and not sweetened it or anything.
That's amazing.
That
has the concentration in there, and it's from the spirit. You can tell by the colour. I mean, first fill, yes, but this will. I mean, and blanket across all New Zealand distilling. This will not be an old whiskey. The concentration in there is incredible.
Yeah.
It
starts off with bitter chocolate and coffee notes, and then there's a hint of rich aromatic campfire wood smoke from the Manuka, and then finally a raft of sweetness just opens up. There's caramel, there's toffee, a pinch of molasses, drizzle out.
Yeah, there is a bit of golden syrup in there as well. That really is quite remarkable. I think of the applications of kilned malt, toasted malt otherwise destined for beer rather than whiskey. I think this is probably the best application, or at least the most subtle.
Yeah.
The most well blended, I should say, application.
The addition of the Manuka smoke means it hasn't been overwhelmed by the sweetness and chocolate and coffee.
Well, that's restrained as well.
Yeah. But it's dialed a whole thing back from being just going too far in one direction. That's, I think, one of its biggest successes here.
Yeah, I think whoever was in charge of the Manuka smoking was pretty delicate on the throttle, which I think is essential.
Yeah.
So it's there, but it's there. It's so subtle that if I didn't know it was there, I'm not even sure I would. Without prompting, I'm not sure. It might have just completely sidled by and folded into the otherwise very, very balanced, but quite titanic and extremely Moorish spectrum of the palate.
It is scrummy. If you don't like overly sweet whiskey, as a lot of people do, then this would not be one for you. But as someone who likes rich, sweet tasting things, this is right up my boat.
This is
up my boat, up my alley, and right floating my boat.
Right up Dave's boat. This is a bit of a phenomenon. This is a extremely rich whiskey that does it without wood.
Yeah.
Normally you would, if you wanted, I want something really sweet, really rich, really dense and concentrated, you say, well, you're going to need to find yourself a good Oloroso, sherry matured, or even, PX if you want to go madman on it. This emulates that richness, that density, that weight with perfectly ordinary bourbon wood, and not a lot of age.
It is first fill bourbon though, and that's definitely bringing something to the party.
True, it's bringing a good weight of wood, but what makes this different and exciting for me is that the richness in the spirit, the weight and the concentration, it's coming from the spirit.
So much of the flavour.
So it was here
itself
from birth. Like it doesn't even. Not to say it doesn't need its wood, but it's not relying on it.
I'm trying to imagine what this would be like as a new make spirit. And
well, that's what I was just thinking. I'd love to try this on its own, no wood whatsoever, because I think that would be the true revelation, to see just what the bones of this thing are, how stout they are. I was a bit worried throwing one New Zealand whiskey out in the deep end this early on the list. It was like, oh no, it's just we're throwing it out there to die. It can't possibly hold out against some of the whiskies we have just seen in that collection. But this, I think, is going to be. I think there's not going to be any argument. This is number one for the time being, and I think it's going to have some staying power. I'm not going to say it's going to stay here till the very end. That would be frankly. That would be frankly scandalous if a New Zealand whiskey.
We are ranking these by consensus, so I'll definitely be able to plug for it pretty heartily, as I'm
but
sure
yes,
I will.
I think in this first actual ranking, because the first one was a bit of a that one got the bye, you'd have to say, the Thompson brothers. I would, in no uncertain terms, put this above the Thompson brothers. A perfectly cromulent Speyside-driven whiskey. This is something else. This is something else entirely, and I think it's going to take a pretty heavy hit to knock it off its perch.
Yeah.
What another genuinely sumptuous whiskey from Pokeno. I need to get myself up there. I need to have a look at this distillery where this magic is happening, because it has been a bit of a blind spot. Goodness me, Pokeno, reach out. We would love to promote you. But no, this whiskey promotes itself. So much so that we have got 47 seconds of tape left. So that was good that we kept that one concise.
Oh, wow.
So join us tomorrow for another blind tasting, where we will do our very best to maintain what is now a streak. Goodness me, that was early in the game. But as you will discover, there's maybe some other technical tomfoolery afoot that we didn't account for, so maybe the streak will be more of a common feature than not this year. So,
Back
exciting
in 2 days
stuff.
for another ranking.
Ooh, it's heating up. All right, Slanja.